Today's studio agreements are: be safe. Have an adult help you when you are working with scissors. Get comfortable. If necessary, roll up your sleeves and tie your hair up. Be responsible. Make sure your area is clean before you work and clean up as you go. Then finally, have fun and keep a positive attitude. Hello everyone, my name is Cynthia, and today we will be learning about color theory through creating a color wheel by mixing our own colors and learn about color palettes. So some of you may be asking, what is color theory? Well, color theory is the mixing of colors and the different combinations that they create. Why is color mixing so important? Well, color mixing is important because when you mix your own colors, you create more harmony in your paintings, and working with limited color palettes can enhance them as well. Not only that, but mixing with your own colors can also benefit your wallet. So it saves you a lot of money when you can mix your own colors instead of buying a bunch of different tubes for a bunch of different colors that you could have made on your own anyway. In addition to the color wheel that you see here that I've created, I'm also going to be showing you all how to apply one of these color palettes that we're going to go over in a little bit into a painting of your favorite fruit or vegetable. Here are the list of supplies that you'll need. So the first thing that you're going to need is some watercolor paper or cardstock. Any thick paper pretty much works, but when you're working with acrylic paints or watercolor paints, as we will be today, I do recommend that you get a watercolor paper. This is a pretty affordable brand, and you can get this at any art supply store. Watercolor or acrylic paint. Today I'm going to be using watercolor, but the main three colors that we're going to use for our color wheel are going to be cadmium red, cobalt blue, and lemon yellow. You're also going to need some paint brushes. So usually when we paint, I always recommend that we have 3 different sizes. We got our large brush, our medium brush, and our small brush. We're going to need water for our paint. Surface that you can mix on. This is just a regular like butcher's tray. You can use a ceramic plate, you can use a styrofoam plate, anything that can hold the paint and the water and it won't spill out. A pencil and an eraser for the drawing we'll be working on later. And a ruler, because in addition to our regular sheet of watercolor paper, we're also going to use a 6" by 6" piece to do a small illustration. So in order to get our 6" by 6" piece of watercolor paper for our illustration after the first activity, all you really need to do is take your ruler, and if you have a large sheet of paper, you're just going to measure out 6 inches on one side, then 6 inches on the other side, and with a pair of scissors, just go ahead and cut where you put those lines, and you should get a sheet exactly like the one I have here. To get started with our color wheel activity, you need to draw 12 circles that form a larger circle as you see on my color wheel here on the screen. Then we're going to start with our primary colors, which are the 3 tubes of paint that we have on our supply list. These are what we call the primary colors, so they will be yellow, red, and blue. And these colors don't go just anywhere. So what we're going to do is start with yellow at the very top, and then you're going to count 4 spaces clockwise, so to your right, down the circle, and that is where we will put our red, and then another 4 spaces to the left of red is going to be blue. After that, we will be mixing our secondary colors, which are orange, violet, and green. These colors can be created by mixing two primary colors together. To get orange, we're going to mix yellow and red together and then put it 2 spaces to the right of yellow. After that, we're going to mix violet with red and blue, which you're going to place 2 spaces to the left of red. And then finally, green is with blue and yellow, which will go 2 spaces above blue. Finally, we are going to mix our tertiary colors, which are yellow-orange, red-violet, blue-violet, blue-green, and yellow-green. These colors can be mixed by using the colors within their names. So for example, if I'm doing yellow-orange, I'm going to mix yellow and orange, and I'm going to place it between those 2 colors on the color wheel. I'm going to do this for every single one of the tertiary colors until we have a full and complete watercolor wheel. Now that you have your color wheel, this will be the roadmap to finding and using different color palettes in your illustrations. The first color palette that we will be looking at is warm versus cool. So what you're going to do is you're going to split your color wheel in half diagonally between yellow-green and yellow, and then violet and red-violet. This split just indicates that the right side of the color wheel is all warm colors, so colors that are mixed with yellow and orange and red, and then the left side is colors that are mixed with green and blue. Our next color palette is complementary colors. And these are colors that are on opposite sides of each other on the color wheel, and they help bring each other out. When they're mixed, they cancel each other out and create neutral grays and browns. The main complementary color combinations that you'll probably see most often are yellow and violet, red and green, and blue and orange. However, these aren't the only combinations. Every single color in the color wheel has its complement. Next, we have analogous colors, and analogous colors are 3 to 4 colors within the same color family, so they practically sit next to each other on the color wheel. An example of analogous color families are yellows and oranges, reds and violets, blues and greens. Then we have color triads. So a color triad is just a trio of colors that are 4 spaces apart if you're going clockwise. So an example of this would be green, orange, and violet. When you use a color triad in your illustrations, you're sort of balancing out the whole color wheel because you have a little bit of each side of it in your painting. And last but not least, we have our split complementary colors. This is 1 color plus the 2 neighboring colors of its complementary color. So for example, if we had violet and I wanted to use the split complement of violet, instead of using yellow, I would use yellow, green, and yellow, orange. This allows me to have still a very bright and beautiful effect with the colors next to each other, but it's not as dramatic or as drastic as if I just used yellow. Alright, so now let's apply a little bit about what we learned about color to an illustration. So you're going to get your 6" by 6" piece of watercolor paper, cardstock, and you're going to draw your favorite fruit or vegetable. You can do this with a photograph, but if you have the actual thing with you, it'd be even better. For mine, I chose a banana. I really like bananas, and they also happen to be my dog's favorite fruit. For this illustration, we're going to be using a complementary color palette. So you're going to paint your fruit or vegetable in its natural color, and then we're going to use the complement of that natural color to paint the background. In the case of my illustration, my banana is yellow, so therefore my background is going to be purple, and that'll help the banana pop out and stand out. To get the shadows and any other dark spots on your fruit or vegetable, you want to mix the primary color with its complement. So you don't want to avoid using any other colors other than those two. If you really need to, you can use white for highlights, but the whole point of just using complementary colors is that you're able to create your own neutral colors. So browns and grays for shadows, because it looks more natural and it just works better with the colors that you're already using. When you use an outside black or brown, sometimes it's not within the same color temperature or the same color mixing, and it'll look foreign to your illustration. This way you're able to integrate the colors better because they were mixed and they come from each other. And then if you notice, as I'm coloring in my background with violet, the colors are already competing with each other. They're bringing each other out, they're screaming for attention, and the brown just looks very beautiful and very natural on the banana. Complementary colors are supposed to be attention grabbers, so now that you know more about this color palette, maybe you've noticed some of the logos and things that you guys like to eat, things like movie logos and things like that. They're usually in complementary colors because they draw your attention, they draw the eye. And there you go, we made our color wheel and color palette guide and a nice complementary color painting. Super easy, super fun. I want to thank everyone for joining me today, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Thank you.